Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you're tuning in from. Welcome back to Best Perspective. This week's guest, Dan Marrée. But first, as always, Noah Brinkworth and we're going to chew the fat a little bit and let you know what's going on in European Ultimate, Global Ultimate, and ease you in to chat with Dan. How are you, Noah?
Really good, feeling super good after watching some amazing Ultimate in Belgium. We've been joking that Nemo has got some sort of contract with the Belgian government, meaning that every EUF event this year is in Belgium. But wow, if they're all as good as that, I'll have them in Belgium forever. We just had Tom's, and except for the first day, the weather was awesome, the frisbee was awesome, and we went on straight for the next week at Elite Invite in Leuven. What do you think about those two events, Steph?
Yeah, so good. I mean, our outroll ULTI.TV wise was awesome. We had the majority of us did the double event. So we went to Bruges, shot, took in, streamed the event there, had 4 days in between, kind of hung out together, kind of did a bit of our own things. Me and Noah did a fun food episode in Brussels, and then moved on to Leuven and streamed over there. Weather was phenomenal, as you said, the one bad day, but it is about the frisbee. I mean, Nemo might have something to do with Elite Invite getting there, but Tom's is the 30th anniversary. It's always there this time of year. And wow, was that a awesome event. I mean, we got to just push right to the finals, I guess. Div 2 finals happened. And then the other finals, women's final, lopsided,
Mm.
but a pretty good muscle flexer for the German women's national team. They were incredible. I mean, GB kept their head above water with them till I don't know 5-5, 6-6 or something, and then wow, Germany is good. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was quite reflective of the EUC final as well, where there was a period of the game where the two teams looked level. Even in that moment, it looked like Germany were the more likely team to break and go ahead. In the UC final, it got to about nines, and then Germany just stacked the field, playing a D point with their O line players, and the break train started rolling for Germany, and it was a similar story in Tom's, but they went a little bit quicker because obviously the Tom's games are shorter, and also just because I mean Germany have added this massive talent of Levka Wolchak, who last year at UC was playing in the mixed division, and now she's playing in the women's division. They also had Anna Gerner back, who played some of that UC campaign but got injured before the business end, the bracket of that tournament. I was just incredibly impressed with Anna Gerner. I think that Anna Gerner is the most clear best player in the division that I've seen in a post-COVID world, in like across any divisions. I think she's standing, far away from the next best player in a way that I haven't seen a
Yeah,
player
I
do.
mean, we sing her praises. Oh, sorry to interrupt there. We do sing her praises a lot, and you're right. They are so deserved. She is doing everything and is, yeah, just awesome. I agree with you wholeheartedly there. They're also going to get Nikki Priyan back
Mm.
soon, who was also on mixed and swapped over to women's. So, uh, they are exceptionally strong and likely only getting stronger. So, big ups to Germany. We'll talk about that again in a second once we get to Elite
Mm.
Invite. But what about that Open final, Noah, at Tom's tournament? I know you. I got we were all there. I was had the pleasure of being on the call. My voice was popping a little bit on that one, but it was a crazy finish. You made an awesome video, but that's pretty much the pointy end that we want to share about here, huh?
Yeah, I mean the pressure sort of ramped up. I thought across Elite and Toms we saw incredibly efficient offense from Moon Catchers, but the pressure ramped up at the end of that game. Went into 9-12, I believe, with no breaks on the Moon O line in that game, and a hold for La Forta and three breaks on the trot. I think they were excellent. You were
Talo Street.
saying, yeah, Talos Street. Oh my god, his stock has risen more than any other player. Like Tom's anyway. There was maybe another contender at Elite, But
Mhm.
yeah, just an incredible, emotive, what a fantastic story for Moon, kind of switching the narrative on the EUCF semi-final last year. You just don't
Mhm.
get a bad game between those teams.
No, those two are just humdingers only. So La Fota, Moon get the upset there. Then we drive down the road to Leuven. It's the EUF sanctioned, the big hitters event, really only the top 8 in each division at Elite Invite. And this one was, I mean, just no bad games. Sure, there were a few games, but like there were so many more great games that it was just, I mean, a great representation of what this tournament has been like working its way into for the past 3 years to get these elite teams that were good last year to play a top end tournament the next year. I felt like this year was the first like really legitimate year where all these teams all came in strong. You know, there were favorites in every game, but anybody could have kind of taken any game. I thought it was it really stacked up quite well for that pick 'em kind of. You never know who's going to win it.
Yeah, I think across the divisions, women's lots of variants there, like East Block beating Shout early that in a great game. In the end, we had Jinx Yaka in the final, and Jinx reversed the the sort of bad beating they got from Yaka at the last Elite Invite. They were very impressive again. Levka coming into Jinx, making improvements there. You know, the wind not being so severe as last year. In the open division, I think it was a story of, you know, the Belgians being really, really strong. Like even Jet Set looked pretty decent in the quarters against Moon. They looked for a time that they were going to take that game all the way to Universe. Moon pulled away. Then Gentle with the upset, 3 or 4 breaks in a row against a really weakened Clapham side. All of the sort of fields came across to watch that one. Fantastic atmosphere on that semi-final game. Then we had the all Belgian final, Gentle versus Mooncatchers. Aaron van der Vega making a massive, you know, name for himself in that game.
It
The
was his
Van der Vega
brother actually.
brothers,
Arthur van der Vega was. They were
Ato
both
van der
played well,
Vega,
but
sorry,
Arthur was the one who was
getting all the
smoking hot.
stats.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
then it finally a mixed, massive, you know, underdog story for Lemmings, who, you know, came into the tournament thinking, well, we might win some games, maybe at least we'll play some close games. End up making to the final. Amazing layout. Callahan from EV Harms, other players across the roster played really, really well, and upsetting Seski Discus in the final to take the bid for EUCF for Lemmings. How do you think? How
Crazy
did you think that
stuff.
they did?
Yeah, that was great. We were jokingly crediting ourselves because we coached two of those players in Portugal early, about a month earlier. I actually don't think they showed up to our sessions, or maybe not mine, anyways. I can't really take credit, but to see the a team of, and they're going to be like, oh, I can't believe you said that, virtual unknowns. I don't know any of the names. I was watching their semi, and I was talking to some of the UK crew, like, okay, who should I know out here? Who and yeah, okay. At the end, there's like, okay, there's a handful that I did know the names. The name rings a bell, but they are a team that is on the up and up. Last year, they got the golden ticket, spring invite. This year, they made it okay. No spring invite, golden ticket. That's fine. We'll stroll ourselves right into the big dance and win the golden ticket and knock off everybody at the big dance. It was a shock win, but they've definitely kind of solidified. Like, yeah, we're here to play. They play the faceless army kind of game. They don't rely on one player to do anything. Yeah, a few standouts, of course, but really just a grinder kind of a team that lets everybody kind of play hard, upfield, nonstop cutting across the board. They hustled. I thought it was a lot of heart that got them across the line, and certainly in the final.
Yeah, I think that super good news for their program to get that automatic bid to UCF. It's just going to solidify them, really give them confidence going into UCF, going into UK Nationals. Could they make a play there with Deep Space looking strong and talented, but maybe a little inconsistent? And then the rankings come out for mixed, and we have 3 teams at the top, not in Elite Invite, because, you know, some of these Elite Invite teams went to Spring Tour and didn't do quite so well. So I mean, there's going to be some upsets in that mixed division of what teams qualify. But I think we'll chat more about the European season and all of these tournaments in the back end, Steph. Let's get
Yeah.
on to our interview with Dan.
Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever the heck you are tuning in from. Welcome back to Best Perspective. I am, as always, Stef Pazzo. Thanks for sticking around as me and Noah wrapped up what's happening now. And of course, to our guest, Daan de Marrée. Daan, how are you?
How are you, man? I'm good. I'm good.
Good, buddy. Where are you? Where are we talking to you from right now?
So I'm currently in Leuven, my home place. It's 20 minutes from Brussels. I live at my mom's house. She's not at home right now, so I have the house fully for myself.
Nice. Time to make some noise.
Yeah.
You can be loud. So Daan de Marrée, of course, his resume in Ultimate is very shining in the last couple years, particularly European Open Player of the Year, as per the Ulti World article last year, 2023, silver medalist at the under 24s with Team Belgium, gold medalist with the Belgium national team in the European Championships. Fourth place, member of the fourth place team, Mooncatchers at WUCC in Cincinnati. And you had one more thing that you shared with me, and I forgot, a junior. What was your last one?
The runner-up defensive player.
Yes, runner-up defensive player. So yeah. Daan has a very colorful resume of his accomplishments. And as I've said, a lot of this has happened in the last couple of years. We're gonna talk about that. But before we get to all of his ultimate accomplishments, we're gonna start at the beginning. You said you're from Leuven. You live in Leuven.
Yeah.
How did you find Ultimate? How did you get into Ultimate?
Yeah, so Leuven is a Flemish city, which like it's a city where everyone speaks Dutch, Flemish actually. And I was in a youth association, like the Scouts or the Giro, we call it in Belgium. And it's like a kind of club when you go every Sunday with your friends. You go to your group, and you do a little bit of wait, let's start it over because I have to
keep going.
Yeah. So it's a youth association where I started. It's like the Scouts or the Giro, we call it in Belgium. And it's every Sunday. You go with your age friends, and you throw a little bit. You play a little bit of football, and then in the summer you go on a camp. And my monitor actually played Frisbee for Jet Set Leuven, and he taught me every single throw. But at that time, I was playing soccer. So I was like, okay, what should I do? And then, it all started a bit. After school, I went some throwing. So that's
How old were you? How long ago was this?
At that time, I was 14,
and
15
so
years old.
That's about 10 years ago. You're 24 now, yes?
Yeah, 22.
22. Oh,
yeah, from 2001.
Yeah, same as me. We're the same age. Okay, so you've been playing for 8 years already as a 22-year-old.
Yeah.
So you played football, and how long did you kind of play both for after you found Ultimate? I guess you didn't quit immediately. Like, how long did you kind of do a bit of both before you ended up switching to Ultimate as full time?
So I started playing football when I was 5 years. And then until my 14th, 15th year, I started playing Frisbee as well. And I combined it for six years. Yeah, till last year, I played soccer and Frisbee at the same time. So yeah.
Nice. Now going back, you said you were at one of these scout camp things. You had somebody from Jet Set there. I'm not sure who that was or if I know them, but talking about role models, was this person, did they end up being a role model, or they just happened to be somebody who was the door opener for you?
Yeah, he was a the door opener. And then I went to like a little sport after school program. When you're in like Middelbaar, we call it in it's like the school after you're 12.
Okay. Yeah, middle school.
Yeah, middle school. You go every Wednesday. You have like activities, and Wednesday it was frisbee, and there was one assistant player from Jet Set and also Belgium Ultimate national team, and P.J. Verbeek, who was my monitor. They gave training to the young kids from school, and also some players from Jet Set already. Yeah, so they were a bit like the door opener for the Ultimate World for me. And I'm very happy that they forced me into to go, and yeah, they helped me a lot, especially
When
technical
you
wise.
first started, when you were young, or let's say by the time you went to your first tournament, was there anybody who's in your head who was like, "Oh, that person is awesome"? Whether they were a Belgian or maybe somebody from another country, was there somebody that you kind of first noticed as like, "That's the best player. That's one of the best." Do you have somebody like
This
that?
was quite late actually. I was like the guy that frisbee was just a side thing. Like I wasn't going hard on it, or I wasn't really trying to be the best or something like that. But I knew I had some like quite like yeah talent maybe like feeling for the game. Of course, like PJ the Millenara
Yeah, yeah.
was one of the biggest names at that time. But also Rev already, because my first tournament was in Mooncatchers actually. And I think we lost against Mooncatchers, but it was the first time that I saw some players. Actually, the first name was Nicolas Hockey.
Yeah.
He was the first guy that was layouting and doing everything with like the knee protectors and stuff. And I was like, damn, this guy, yeah, he's really good.
Okay.
So
Nico
yeah,
Hockey,
he
DJ
was the one
Hockey.
actually. Yeah, he was the one.
Uh, awesome. So that was a tournament hosted by
Yeah, it's
Mooncatchers.
Objective Moon. It's
Okay,
an
yes,
annual
I've heard
thing.
of
So yeah,
Objective Moon.
yeah.
Cool. Talk about training. What do you do? What's your training situation like? You live in Leuven. Maybe you train with them. I mean, you roll in with Moon this year. You did last year. Do you go to Brussels all the time? And then maybe tell me about your own personal regime as well.
Yeah. So last year I trained twice with Jet Set and once with Mooncatchers. So I traveled to Brussels every Wednesday, which is kind of close. It's like 25 minutes by train and then 20 minutes by
Hang on.
metro.
25 minutes away, and you speak Flemish and they speak French.
Yeah, but Brussels is
Jesus.
both. They speak both. So
Okay, okay.
yeah,
All right, go on. Sorry to interrupt.
it's in Uccle. It's in Uccle.
And
And they speak
ukol. What
French.
the
Yeah,
ukol are you talking about? What does that mean?
Uccle, Uccle. It's called Uccle.
Okay.
uh, and so I yeah went every Wednesday to Brussels, and then I played on Monday and Thursday with Jet Set. And this year it changed, so I will be training at Monday and at Wednesdays in Brussels, um, and then on Thursdays I will train with Jet Set. So,
Okay, so that you're still kind of accepted in both clubs. You're going to go give a bit
kind of.
more to the Moon this year
Yeah,
because that's your primary
yeah.
competitive team. What about your, what do you do? What does Dan do when you're doing your own ultimate base training but non-team training?
Yeah, so I graduated in January, so I was like, okay, what I'm gonna do? Will I go work or do something else? And I decided to fully commit on Frisbee for 6 months until end of November, end of October. Um, and so what I do in a week is so I have practices with a team on Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and then I go to the gym twice or 3 times a week, which is the majority is on legs, on getting my vertical better, those kind of things. And then I try to do two field workouts with intervals or sprint workouts or cuts and throwing, obviously. So
Throwing.
yeah,
How
so
often do
six.
you think you throw non-team training?
Uh, 2 times, 3 times a week.
More in the off season.
More in the off season. Yeah, yeah, sure, yeah, yeah.
Okay, cool.
I mean,
Okay.
yeah, kind of. I try to do more in the season, but the season is already so packed that you need some rest as well, and you need to get to know your body. And I'm pretty young, and it's quite difficult to not try to do everything every time. So I'm learning that now, to really like know your body, and when it tells you to stop, you should just take a rest day and yeah, watch
Yeah,
something.
take your rest day.
Yeah,
It gets more difficult when you get older. I can attest to that. So enjoy your youth and vitality, and maybe you're a little bit too eager, but it's a good thing. So we're going to talk about how busy your season this year is going to be, because I think it's probably the busiest one you will have ever
yeah,
had. But before we get there, I want to talk about your development. So you started youngish, young enough for European standards, quite young for sure. But like, 3 years ago, I don't know who the hell you are. 2022, I think you kind of show up on the radars, and I'm like, oh yeah, who's that guy playing with Moon? Like, you were good, you were contributing, maybe not the best on the team at that stage. And then last year comes around, and as a commentator, I probably say your name more than anybody else on the European tour. You win MVPs. You had a good run last year, and we talked a bit about your training, but I don't know, like, take us through this. How is it in your head? Like, you've obviously, I see it from the outside, but how has it been from your life, from your shoes, kind of
yeah.
developing very quickly into what the guy who's recognized as the best in Europe right now?
So yeah, I mean, there was this period of COVID, and it happened really fast after. Like the first tournament I played was Basel Invite, um, and
With
it's
who?
all
With Moon?
with Moon. Yeah, with
Okay,
Moon.
I
That was
was
my
there.
first. Yeah, it was my first tournament with Moon. And I was so happy that I could play with like the best players in Belgium. Rev, Benji, yeah, we was there as well. Quentin Walsh was there as well, or Kilian,
Uczynski.
Oshinsky.
Even Nemo was playing on
Yeah,
that
Nemo was playing
Mooncatchers
as well.
team.
Yeah, it was his first year with Mooncatcher as well.
All right.
Um, so yeah, and then after that, I don't know what happened. It was like first game of ACF. I played against La Fota. Um, and I did a lot of breaks. And from that on, I was like, all right, I can really grow into this and really evolve quickly, because I have the athletic yeah things. Um, um, I started to train and to really commit to the sport. And yeah, just try my best, and luckily I had those players next to me who learned me a lot. Like yeah, Ref is maybe one of the best players I ever seen play on a field. I mean, he learned me a lot, also about mental wise, and about yeah, just just killer instinct. Like they teach me that a bit. I had it also in me, but yeah, and then yeah, it went very fast. Then Worlds was there, played a good tournament there as well. I think this year was like the best year so far. Especially I had to um, put Jet Set also on the map, play as a main player there, and I think it helped me a lot as a player to be one of the main men on the field. And then I just translated it with Moon, and it was well. They took it well, and they put me on the D line, some offensive points as well, and yeah, I think I'm not even like close to my potential. So yeah,
Ooh, let's see. Pressure's on, Demaré. Last year was a big year. Let's see if you can do more and more.
yeah.
We hope so,
It
for
doesn't
sure.
mean like I do more points or I do more Ds, but grow as a player is as well like what throw good breaks, or like yeah, know where you have to be on the field at the random timing, and these are
Uh,
kind of things. I'm now like more like head like had a heat head like that
Yeah,
on the field.
cerebral. We'll
Yeah,
even say
so
some.
I mean, I think if I can lower that a bit and think more about, okay, what should I do now? Rest a bit.
You're saying you're hot headed. You get a little
Yeah,
too.
yeah,
You get fiery.
yeah, like not in a really bad way, but like sometimes I only focused on my game, uh, and I shouldn't because uh, Ultimate is a team sport. You have six players next to you running. So yeah,
Yeah. But I mean, realistically, you should get better cerebrally from a thinking point every year. Can you maintain your body
yeah, true.
and your athleticism as you grow smarter? This is what we're going to be looking and watching for.
Mm.
I'll be watching very carefully. So Jet Set, you talked about putting them on the map. They are kind of like showing up now. Jet Set came in the top 8. They'll be going to a lead invite. A very good team, but you're still playing with Moon. How's that? How is it? How you still train with them? Like, obviously they're happy to have you train. You're local, but is there conversations like, hey, when are you coming back, Dan? Like, what's up, man? Does
Uh,
this kind of stuff happen? How is
yeah,
that balance of like, yeah, I'm
uh,
just gonna go down the road and play with the guys that win a bit more.
yeah. So we have a lot of conversations about it, especially the nationals in Belgium as well. Um, but I mean, they can do it without me, and I think they give me like the permission to play with Moon. Yeah, um, yeah, it was. Yeah, it started before Worlds, and I felt so good in the group with Moon, and I didn't want to leave that behind. Um, so I was always more going to Moon, and yeah, they understand it as well. They know Mooncatchers is a top team, and they always try to win, which was different with Jet Set. They always wanted to go to ACF instead of winning. Now it's different. Now it's different. They want to be better every year. But with Moon, they want to win every time, and I think that's the difference. That's yeah, that's
That got you attracted to
yeah,
Moon.
trick. Yeah.
Do you think there's a point maybe you'll go back to like if Jet Set keeps winning? Like, what if you won an EUCF with Moon? Would that be like, okay, now I can go back to Jet Set? Would you
Um,
think that would change things the year after? Would you just want to
no,
win again?
yeah, we need to break the record of Clapham, huh? So I mean,
So you got to keep winning.
yeah, keep winning, and I mean, I have a contract till 2026 for Worlds with Moon. So after that, maybe we'll see. I'm a free agent by then.
Okay, we'll keep our eyes on that as well. Uh, so that's Belgium last year. Let's go back to the national scene. So under 24s, you guys were on fire. You had a great run at Tom's. You can talk about the last point against La Fote if you want to. That was very interesting. But otherwise, you guys went to Nottingham, second only to the US, and put up a pretty good fight, as good a fight as anybody. But they are the damn US, and they know how to win. Otherwise, EUCF, you guys are not EUCF, sorry, EUC. You guys were sensational. Really stuck it to GB. Uh, you know, talk about how that season was. You can talk about both campaigns, but and I guess talk about the big moments, like for yourself. And I guess I think I wanted to mention this later, but I'm going to mention it now. Like, ref being gone and you finding a way to step up. Like, was there a connection between those things at all? Like, was there a void that needed filling, or are those not connected at all? I don't know. I asked you about 10 questions there.
Yeah,
You can answer them as you like, or I can.
I will start with U24. So yeah, at U24s, it's just I think it was my best memory so far. You play with guys that are your age. All the players were so incredibly good. We had 50 players that came to our selection process. We took like 27, 26. And everybody was like, "Oh shit, we really have a good team. Like we can, yeah, we can maybe beat the US." And it all happens. It all happened at Tom's actually. Like the comeback against La Fota, we were like, "Oh damn, all right, we are good enough to be at the top of Europe if this was a team." So if we just translate it into national team and to worlds with U24s, I mean, we can really do something. And there was a lot of hype around Belgium, around U24s, um, which kind of helped us as well because teams were scared of us, especially with the names that we had. We had Toba, we had Sofiane, we had Benji. Um, we had some like yeah big names in Europe. Um, so yeah, and then against Canada, we did like a kind of statement game.
Was that your
Uh,
first game or
no, second
second?
game. The second
Second
game.
game,
The
yeah.
first one was against China.
Okay.
And
First should have been tough game.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And that was like, all right, all right. We are way better than the average teams here, and we can really, um, yeah, go into the final. Yeah, our final was not great. I mean, until 5-5, and then it went down. Like in the in the podcast with Lefke as well. She talked about that you give like that 1 point away and then they just run off. Yeah, that's what they did against us as well. And I think we just need more practice against these kind of players to be able to beat them in the future. So yeah, if some U24 players.
And so the next under 24s, you're part of the coaching staff.
Yeah, yeah. I'm a assistant coach. I will try to do as much as personal coaching, so helping them positioning, clearing, cutting, these kind of things to help them with that.
How many of those top players are going to be returning? Like Sofiane,
Sofiane,
Benji,
no, Benji is 2000, so he will not be there. Toba,
Tuba.
Toba,
Did I say it
Toba,
right?
no, Toba. It's
Toba.
yeah, Toba. Um, He will be there as well. Lander as well. So two guys.
Lander too. Lander's that
Yeah,
young.
he's 2002. So
Holy crap,
um,
those kids are young.
yeah. So yeah, it's sad that I can play with them because it would be amazing and yeah, crazy.
Yes, me too. I miss
Another
everybody
shot,
the same
another
as you.
shot. But yeah, amazing team as well. Very hyped to coach them and to help them reach the final again and hopefully win.
Like,
Um,
okay, back to part 3 of my 10 questions now. So now we're going to talk about the EUC Belgium team. But first, how many under 24s were on the EUC team?
seven.
7. So you, Lander, Tuba, Sofiane,
Nicolas Oké,
Hockey,
Gaetan,
Gaetan Vandenbroek,
Benji.
and Benji. I didn't say him. Okay, so yes, and all very 7 that
Yeah,
had
seven
major
key players
impact on both
actually for
teams.
both teams. So yeah, they were key for the Open team and for the U24 team. So
And then for the Open team, what did you guys have for like pre-tournament before EUCs? What tournaments did you play?
so we had Belgium invite and London invite. And Belgium invite was already a nice preparation, but at London invite we were short roster. Like we had a really short roster, um, and that was the feeling. I mean personally, I felt at that moment that we had a really good team because we had Benji wasn't there, Ref wasn't there. Um, some other players from Moon as well. We were like yeah, maybe 14, 15 at the end. So and we won actually against GB. We did a great game against Germany, um, and that was the moment I was like, all right, okay, we have the depth. We really can do something if we just find the right timing and the good tactics, we really can beat
Did
it
you
as
guys
a
lose
result.
any games in your warm
Yeah,
ups?
yeah, yeah, yeah. We lost against Germany twice
Okay,
at London Invite.
but then at EUC undefeated.
Yeah, no, we lost against GB and Universe.
Oh yes,
Yeah,
right. I do. Okay, yes, on the VO cam, I think.
yeah,
Oh
yeah.
no, or was there
It
zero
was
cam?
it was the VO cam.
It was a VO cam.
Yeah.
Okay, so the one loss at EUC, but then yeah, I guess talk about the rest of EUC.
Yeah, ESC was amazing. The first time after COVID that we could play together with the national team, like this generation, with PJ as well, and all the other veterans, was kind of cool. Everyone was hyped. Everyone knew that we had the talent, but maybe not the experience to do this. And yeah, just yeah, we felt it felt right from the start. I mean, our defense was just crazy. We just we all have the killer instinct that you want in a
Mm.
team. Um,
In the
and
finals, you guys poured it on. You really put them away. What was
yeah,
everything just clear? Were you guys that good, or was GB off a step in the final?
I think GB was off, but because of us, um, we were pretty good in the semis as well. We like kind of crashed Germany
Germany,
15
yeah.
10, which was kind of an easy game in the end. And then we had the right tactics to beat Clapham. We know where are the weaknesses of them. So yeah, um, they have an off match, but I mean, yeah, it was not a good timing to have an off match for a European Championship. But
And then I
I
forget who
mean,
scored the game-winning goal.
I don't know either.
You scored it, you son of a. You
My
remember it.
guess.
Okay. Now, so Belgium continues. You guys have had this long campaign where you were unsure if you're going to go to Australia.
Yeah.
You're going now. Talk
Yes,
about how
sir.
this happened. Kind of who was making it happen. Do you like? I don't know what the team was doing, what the nation, the federation was doing to make it happen, what players had to do to make it happen. But talk about how this happened, because
Yeah.
you've heard it here first. If you hadn't heard it, Belgium is going to Australia.
So yeah, big ups to Pia, the coach. He put a lot of effort in this team and sponsorships. And also the team. Obviously, we were day in day out crying for help to our families, trying to get some fundraising. Also to every company in fucking Belgium. It was crazy. And it was a bit like, are we going? Like until like start of March, everyone was like, this is this it worth it to go? I mean, it's a crazy experience, but so much money. You want to visit Australia as well. But yeah, then it paid off, and then like the fundraising was just going up, and everyone was helping us. The national television was there with the practices. We were going on into the news. Business were calling us for to give their support. Yeah, it was really crazy, and yeah, crazy that like Ultimate got this attention in Belgium, which is yeah, pretty rare.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Uchinsky told me there's no way he's going. No, I'm not going. Too expensive. But Uchinsky's going, isn't he?
Yeah, Edzinski can like, he's called Victor, but uh, he he's always like the guy that just say things and then yeah, if just time
He's
goes.
talking smack. Uchinsky's Victor
No,
Uchinsky's
no.
talking
That's not true.
smack.
That's not what I'm saying. He's like that guy that's just he has not no like paper in front of his mouth. I don't know how to say it. It's like
Yeah, no filter. Maybe he
yeah,
just
no
says
filter.
whatever,
Yeah,
thinks it and says it.
yeah. So
Okay. I quite like having my chats with him, but I was like, "You're going. If they're going, you're going." He's like, "No, 100%. I'm not going. I will
yeah,
not be in
I
Australia.
see
Too
it.
expensive." And now he's going.
Yeah,
Excited to go to Australia? It'll be your
yeah,
first
crazy
time,
excited. Yeah, first time World Championships with the Open team.
but
Um,
you won't have much time to stay before or after, will you?
so we probably leave around the 25th of August um, to Australia and then stay until, yeah, it depends. Some people are gonna travel, some people won't.
Right. So you're there 6 days, a week, almost a week before the tournament.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, but what I mean is you got to kind of get back, you personally. What? So you've got Mooncatchers. You're playing club. You've got Belgium. You're going to Worlds. You're going to Australia, the Gold Coast. Beautiful
Hmm.
place. I used to live there. You're gonna love it. Lots of wind. Be ready for some wind.
Yeah, yeah. Done.
Uh, I can throw you. I can show you some throwing tips in the wind if you want done.
Yeah, sure.
And then what else you got? You playing on you got something else I know. So what else? Where are you gonna go after, or maybe before and after? But what else have you got?
No, there's nothing more. Nothing more.
Nothing more.
Nothing more.
Ah.
No, no, no.
Is it a
Yeah.
secret? That can't be a secret. If you're
I
talking to
mean, I
me,
don't know.
nothing's a secret.
Yeah, so I will go to Chicago to play nationals with them. Um,
Machine,
yeah, machine. Yeah. So
not UFA. You're playing
no,
club
no, no,
season.
no, no. That's not my kind of ultimate that I like. Maybe in the future sometime, but now I want to. Yeah.
And how did this happen? I mean, it seems like more and more Europeans are going over,
Yeah.
more and more are getting noticed. How did the connection happen with Chicago for you?
Yeah, it's actually nice that so many people are going now to the states to try it and like even succeed in it and like Oort did with truck stop. Um, yeah, so Joe White sent me a message and asked me if I was ready to play with the big dogs. And I said, yeah, I'm ready. And yeah, we set up a meeting with everyone, and it was nice talk with them. And yeah, it was not easy to convince me, yeah, to go to Chicago.
Yeah, nice. So you will go for three or four tournaments. Is that what it is?
Um, no, I don't know. Maybe regionals depends if the dates are not yeah with
They're not
ACF.
set yet.
Yeah, I probably will play US Open with them for preparation, and then nationals.
And you'll live in Chicago for a month or
Yeah, like in
something?
total, I will probably live 2 months in Chicago.
What, like a month before Worlds
Month
and a month
before
after
and
Worlds?
month after. Yeah, yeah,
Okay. Joe White, J Dub. He's playing super team.
so,
That guy's good. And he is a very good recruiter. He is very
yeah, yeah, yeah,
he
yeah,
is a
yeah.
very
I
good
mean,
recruiter. He's always looking to, like, every time
yeah,
he's watching Ultimate, he's looking to go talk to the best player in the field after and ask them to play with him.
yeah. So I was
Okay, so that's good. So you'll be, and do you know if you'll be O line, D line? What's
no, no, no.
have they told you much?
I don't know if I can say that. It's the kind of stuff I
Okay,
will
secret tactics. We
see.
got to keep that. We got to
Yeah,
keep that under wraps.
yeah,
Okay, so exciting stuff. You've got Worlds, you've got EUCF, you've got US Championships,
yeah.
three main teams, three major campaigns. Of course, if you're watching this, check out Dan's social media and give him some support. He's got some GoFundMe's, and with the amount of Ultimate he's playing, I think it's very valid. Let's all help watch him play at that top level. A few more questions here, Dan. Now that we're talking about you. How do you describe yourself? Put it out there. Tell, like, if you describe yourself as a player, what are your strengths? What is Daan Marrée good at?
I'm just a competitive beast. Like I want to be the best in everything that I do. Even if I go to the gym, I put a time on my phone just to be there before the alarm goes off and stuff. Yeah, I'm super competitive, and I think that's my strength as well. To just yeah have that killer instinct and yeah yeah, probably the vision as well. So it's from my football career. I played as a midfielder, to analyze the pitch to see what's going on the pitch. And that's why I poach that much. And I think in the future there will be the tactics and will be much different because everyone will be starting poaching and this kind of zone defense. But yeah, if I have to describe me, yeah, like just I don't give up. Um, yeah, what else? I think that's like competitive is maybe the
Competitive, don't give up.
best word to describe me. Yeah.
Likes to poach. Don't give up. I guess you don't want to give up too much, or else Noah's going to make a video about you, and everybody will know exactly what you do. So you got to be careful around here, Dan.
Yeah.
Okay. Top 7 of all time. Who are your best? If you name your super line, best line of all time.
Yeah. So let's start with one player that I was impressed with the most over the years. Not over the years, but so I started playing Ultimate like on the high level from 2021, and there was one guy that was like, "What the fuck? This guy is crazy," and that was Luca Tognetti from La Forta. He was like that beast that plays every point and just won't get tired. If you see the USA Italy final in Perth,
Yep.
2019, and the Germany semifinal as well. I think it was a semifinal, a quarter. I don't know. He was like the guy that I looked up to. So and
Number 97, Luca Tognetti.
yeah, Luca Tognetti. Yeah,
he's not playing Italy this year. He could be on a super other team possibly, but wait for roster announcements. Who knows?
Yeah,
okay, good. Who else you got? But you can't pick me, by the way. If you're saving me for numbers, it has to be 7 players, not including me.
All right. Let's say Rev, of course, in 2022, maybe, yeah, the best player I've ever seen play. It's crazy.
He was awesome at Worlds for sure, and he was on fire up until Windmill when his knee went. We hope.
Yeah. But
he's gonna. Any news on recovery? Where's he at?
Yeah, so Rev won't be playing at Worlds this year. I talked with him today about it as well. And he's just not, he doesn't want to risk it. He's that guy that gets very physical defenders on him. He has a lot of pressure on his shoulders. And he won't be able to give everything. It will be his first tournament as well after injury.
Tough one to come back.
Yeah,
with.
So I mean, he wants to focus on ACF, and the tournaments after. So yeah.
Okay. So Tognetti, Ref, you got 5 to go.
5 to go. I love Europeans, so I will probably take Europeans.
Okay, so you're all Euro line. Okay, all Euro, that's fine. Joe White might get mad though.
I have Luca Tognetti. All time Ford, of course. Because of his legacy. I like Tom Abrams as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So those are 4.
Wait, who did you say before Abrams? Ford.
Ford, yeah.
Ford. Okay, Justin Ford, Tom Abrams. So we got a couple GB boys in there.
Yeah.
We got our Italian. We got our Belgian.
Müller.
Nico
Müller.
Nico, not Marco. Okay, yeah. Nico Müller, one of the best. He was awesome at World Games.
Maybe Müller, but he's kind of Ref's type as well.
Holger, we're talking Holger.
Yeah, Holger,
right?
Holger, yeah.
I think.
And I like Benji Jonkers as well, and Aaron van der Wegen.
Aaron van der Wegen. So you got like from Gentle, the center handler.
Yeah, his hugs are crazy.
All right, so you've gone 3 Belgians, 2 Brits, an Italian. Did you go 4 Belgians?
No, Benji, Jeff.
And a German, Holger Beutenmuller. So that's your top 7. of all time, but we're gonna say your top 7 Euro line, your
And
all
this
time
goes for
Euro.
more than 7, but
Yeah, yeah, but you can keep naming and keep naming and keep
yeah,
naming.
yeah.
So thanks for shooting the breeze with us,
You're
Dan.
welcome.
It's been awesome. You're in the middle of Belgian nationals right now. You just finished day
Yeah,
one,
yeah,
back
yeah.
tomorrow. So good luck there.
Thank you.
Will it be Moon Gentle in the final, or is there some chance it
Um,
might not be that?
no, I give it to Jet Set Moon. Jet Set Moon,
Ah,
final.
you think Jet Set's get a chance to topple Gentle? Okay, I'll keep my eye on that one. Otherwise, by the time this is out, you'll probably be seeing Dan at Tom's shortly thereafter at Elite Invite, as with us and the whole crew at ULTI.TV. But yeah, it's been a pleasure to chat with you. Thank you very much, Dan
You're
Desmarais.
welcome.
We'll catch you next time. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you. Bye bye.
So wonderful to get some time with Daan Desmarais, sharing a little bit about his very young and impressive career. We just got to see him, as we said, a bit at the top at Elite Invite and Tom's, but Elite Invite. But remember that layout he made in the final, Noah?
Yeah, I think it was just so standard for him, but spectacular for anyone else on the European circuit, right? It
Yeah,
was the sort of thing you just expect to see from him, reminiscent of the layout at U24s against, I want to say, Canada, coming up the right side, massive, huge, so high in the air.
yeah. It's tough to say. Do you remember that layout Dan Desmarais made, and have to narrow it down to one because you're right, stock standard for the young Belgian. But wonderful to have had him. Let's. What else is happening in Ultimate right now? There's been a bunch. Let's start with TP. I know you didn't get to watch too much. I did, and I've kept you up to speed. So I'll try and fill you in on the exciting parts. Open Division Team Colombia wins, knocks off a Colombian club team in the final. Nothing too exciting there. I mean, exciting stuff, but nothing crazy, mind blowing. Mixed division. Canada gets knocked out, doesn't make a final at a non worlds tournament is an indication of the level there. But Colombia and U.S. in the final, U.S. dispatched of Team Colombia tidily enough. But the division that was out of control that I've just made you watch, in fact, the last couple points was the women's division. 9-12 USA looked like they had it all wrapped up. We've seen that once. We've seen it a million times. And Colombia, you know, hold. They get a break. They work hard. The last point of the game, I just get to show you, Noah. Thoughts on the last point of the game?
Yeah, I mean, maybe USA should stop throwing so many throws that Colombia can lay out for. They got 3 chances at it. You see Manuela go absolutely massive for the first one. Second one a little bit close to the floor, and Manji Ferrero has a go at it. And then Valeria comes in super clean off the throw from Claire Chastain to Heko, gets a massive, massive touch on it and knocks it out of play. And I think
Yeah,
that I've seen Valeria do that. I think she's been such an explosive athlete at times for Molly Brown. And I think there was a time where you would think that Manuela was the one who would be more likely to nail those massive layout Ds. I think now they're completely even on those. And I've seen Valeria get some disgusting layout Ds in the last
yeah.
12, 18 months.
That
She's fantastic.
Yeah, they're both off the charts. I mean, I think Valeria's normally been the better thrower, offensive weapon, even though Manuela's great. Manuela's been the better defensive layout weapon, even though Valeria's great. And yes, Valeria in that department just getting better. It's for me, it was like the swagger of Valeria getting up. You can see her say, "Vamos," like "Let's go," but
Mm,
just shaking her shoulders off as she gets up, and you could really kind of feel that swag. Like for me, it's like, okay, this game is over as soon as that
mm.
happened. It's like, now, okay, they've made the comeback. They just make that huge play. They're walking it in. And then, of course, it's Valeria in the corner, I don't know, 8 to 10 passes later or something, with a super low release break with no space from the sideline. Heko goes down falling to try and block it. And Valeria
Mm-hmm.
still finds the right seam to put it up into the back corner of the end zone and take the game from the U.S. What a game.
I mean, it's a
That
good
was.
job they were playing on the artificial turf, Steph, because a break throw that low might have caught some blades of grass on like a field in Ohio or something, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, we see Ospina come at the back of the end zone and catch that winning goal. So great to see Ospina back with the playing national team ultimate with the Colombians after the big win with Brute Squad in the club division last year. And man, it looks like Colombia running it back with the superstars. It looks like hopefully some of those Macana players, some of those Colombia U24 players like Aranjo, who was really, really good in London, are going to come, have a really full squad in Australia. And wow, okay, maybe a podcast or two ago, I said that I was most excited for the mixed division. I'm not so sure about that anymore. If that's the level of the women's team that's going to show up, so maybe I
I
should have
sat
been
on the
sitting on
fence
the
last
fence.
time, I remember, and I'm still firmly there because they are. I do believe every division is going to be a mind blower out in the Gold Coast. That said, also I'm so curious to see how Germany stacks up against these two teams. Like how dominant they've been around here in Europe. To see, okay, U.S. is always the bar. To see Colombia kicking the bar down, only just universe point win, but getting the win on home soil. To know that those two are neck and neck, like I got to think that the Germans are going to be in that conversation too. For me, that is I would bet. Well, I don't know, maybe not like my limbs, but I would bet small amounts of money, anyways, that between those three, we're going to see all three medals. But I'm sure there's some countries out there taking notes and ready to prove me wrong.
Yeah, I think the Canadians, the Japanese are both going to have something to say about that. But I mean, there's good points for the Germans, right? They've really had a pretty flawless record in Europe. They've got some parts of their game that look like they could transcend the European stage and be well beating as well. Like the height on the D line, especially like I mean, at the World Games, we saw maybe not the most efficient offense, but Germany were probably the team that could most easily cause turnovers for other teams. And I think that philosophy could go with the German women's team as well. Like I do think on the deep ball, they've got some players who are like 6'1", 6'2", who are just really hard to defend the end zone. And then, I mean, I was watching when we were watching in Tom's. You have like Garnier and Levka like 20 yards outside the end zone. I'm really not sure how you're supposed to stop them dribbling it up into the end zone. Like I just didn't really see that happen at all.
Yeah,
You're not stopping them.
undefendable.
Maybe they stop themselves if you can tire them down enough. But it's
Hypnotize them before the game or something.
yeah, get a nice Aussie night out or something.
Yeah. There's got to be some Aussie witchery out there, and go down to Nimbin or something south of Byron Bay. There, you'll find somebody who can help you. No, don't do that. Don't do that. So okay. So women's division, exciting stuff. TP, exciting. I watched a few more games than you. I think you've watched a whole bunch more and kept your finger on the pulse of what's going on at college nationals a lot more than I have. Why don't you fill us in a bit? What's going on over there?
Yeah, I haven't like watched loads of full games from the college division, but I've definitely kept up with the conversation from Deep Look and things like that. I mean, the story of the college division the last couple of years is that UNC North Carolina has been just really, really strong, and some divisions, some years there's more question marks on them. But I think it's 2 years now. Correct me if it's three. But it's definitely at least two where we've had a North Carolina sweep of both the men's and women's teams winning Division One college nationals. This weekend, literally tomorrow, or maybe even playing already now, is Division Three college nationals, and then yes, next weekend is going to be Division One college nationals. But in the off season, Pleiades, the UNC women's team, they were defeated by Carleton. That marks the first time since the pandemic that Pleiades team has been defeated by any team. That includes when they went and scrimmed like the PUL team in Raleigh. So that shows how dominant they've been. And UNC in the men's division also not coming in as the number one seed per ULTI World. We're looking at Georgia at the top of the men's division and Vermont at the top, ranked team going into college nationals in the women's division. In general, we're looking at like quite an open field in the men's division. I mean, Charlie and Keith were saying that there were 9-10 teams that could make the semis, even teams like University of Alabama Huntsville, who have never traditionally had a fantastic ultimate program, but star players like Kenny Taylor have come in, really elevated their ranking, and there's a big bunch of teams. I think there's a smaller pool of teams who are really strong in women's, like UNC, Carleton, Vermont, and UBC. Some of the best Canadian players coming down for US college nationals. And yeah, I'm definitely going to be tuning in next weekend to the business end of college nationals. It's always really fun to watch, and you have lots of emotion, lots of big swings in momentum. There's some fantastic games, especially with the semi-finals, tend to be really, really good for college. I'm definitely predicting that we're not going to see UNC take it down again. It's just who is going to be that team that breaks through. Yeah, are you going to check out some games in college nationals, Steph? Check out the
next
finals?
week. I tend to always get in for the finals. I don't, if I pick every single league and division, I'll just be nonstop watching Ultimate. Like some of us do, but for college, I tend to just jump in at the business end. I watch semis and finals or just finals some years. But yeah, I'll definitely be tuning in and getting a taste. I'll try and get a little read or some highlights the day before and tune in for the finals and see who takes the crown this year.
Yeah, I think all of those games will. Well, I'm not sure actually. Most of the games will be on ULTI, but there might be some ESPN games there. So,
right,
it's always a little bit trickier to watch college nationals, but there's always someone knocking around. But let's move on to the last thing we're going to talk about. We're going to talk about windmill.
Yeah, we're going to talk about windmill. We may have another best perspective coming up by windmill. We've got a wonderful next guest. We won't tell you quite yet who that is, but we've got that one locked up. But windmill is a hot topic for me this year, Noah, because I will be back in the ring. I was a competitor at a windmill once. We got fourth place. We didn't really show up to the bronze medal game, but got knocked out in the semi on Universe Point. It was great. Otherwise, I've had 4 other windmills as a commentator. What I love the most, but I don't even know what I love the most. I love it all. But yes, I've put together the greatest team in the history of the universe, and we are going to destroy everyone. So I've got my finger on the pulse. It's been a great project. I must say it's come together. I'm quite happy with the way the roster has shaken out and the vibe of this team and our social media presence. It's quite crazy, but also like, I mean, and legit, like I like to talk some smack. I like to get the hype, I like to blow smoke. Everybody knows that about me, but like, we got our hands full. Like this is going to be, we talked about the TEP mixed division, 3 big teams in the final. Okay, those 3 teams won't be there, but every other medal contender will be there, including national teams from Italy, Australia, France, GB, Germany, Austria, Switzerland. Exist coming over from New York. I think the Canadian Masters team is going to be there, defending European champion, Deep Space, and many others. And I got to throw this team of all-stars together, everybody who's used to being, the central focus of their team, and be like, hey, you guys all got to now not be the central focuses and find a way to work together really quick. But they're pretty good, so they might be able to do it. What are your thoughts on... Talk about my super team first, then we'll talk about the rest of Windmill.
So, Steph's super team, if you haven't seen it...
The Tokai super team.
The Tokai super team. Sorry, there's been some fantastic social media posts talking about all of the great players he's recruited to the greatest team in Ultimate history. We've got players like Joe White. We've got Valeria Cardenas. We've got Landa de Clan. I don't know if I can say that one. We've got Angela Zhu. We've got Philippe Molnar. We've got lots of players who are the best players on their team. Lots of players who we haven't seen so much in Europe, who we've never seen play together. Some just awesomely talented players, 20 of them, all on one team.
15 countries.
15 countries as well represented. Talent all the way across Europe. Steph, I want to ask one question, though. This is really, really what I'm interested in. Who is taking the final male matching spot?
Well, so this is this one we put up on social media, and we put it to a vote. And right now, I've narrowed it down to 9 players that are on the short list out of, I think there was more than 37 nominated with at least one like. And I'm talking, some of these have like 70, 80 likes or multiple nominations. Like we had more than 20,000 views in less than 40 hours. It was a post that kind of caught the attention. There are people bending over backwards. I got messages coming out of left field from, people that Morgan Hibbert comes out and says, hey, you got room on this team? And I'm like, geez, maybe, I don't know. So it's gone down to a vote. And by the time you are seeing this, we will have announced who that player was. But what has happened essentially is, in this, there's there's 2 players I've been pursuing. One was Marquez Brownlee, and he was out. He kind of had a little bit of, okay, I'm engaged, and then disappeared. And that's a shame. We'll get him next year once he sees how good of a project it is. But then I was like, okay, the greatest snub ever is Jimmy Mickle not being picked for Team USA. And you heard me say it on our last Best Perspective, give me Jimmy Mickle. And Jimmy Mickle was in. We didn't need to look for somebody. And then Jimmy was out. He just kind of he was 90% in, and then he just disappeared. Couldn't get scheduling sorted. And then so just as this all starts happening, Joe White, of course, nominates Jimmy Mickle in the comments. Jimmy Mickle liked it. I said, wait a minute, what's going on here? Is Jimmy Mickle back in? And so, in that same second, I get an inbox message pops up. Jimmy Mickle, hey, I'm sorry, I've fallen off the map. I just kept waiting to get work off, and that day never came, so I just didn't respond. I'm sorry, my bad. I want to be on this team. Can I still be in? And I was like, listen, we got to go through the right channels here because it's a vote now. But if it's up to me, my vote's going for you. And he's like, listen, buy me the shirt, put my name down. Here's my sizes for my shirt. Here's my number. If I don't make it, I'll pay for my jersey anyways. I want on that team. So I'm waiting for his response. I have a feeling the team, because we had some dialogue about him, and he's Jimmy Mickle. I have this really strong feeling that if he's available, he's going to be our 20th player. He will get voted in by the players, which could sting some of these players with 70, 80 likes and, getting a whole nation of supporters behind them. But I did quite clearly say our criteria was that we get to decide based on who is the best, and the short list gets picked based on how much crowd love is available. So you've
heard it here first, people. Stef Pazzo will subvert the democratic process to get the person he really wants. No, but seriously, if you didn't get selected, 1, good try. 2, get good, and get good over a period of 15
Jimmy.
years. I mean, Jimmy's been one of the standout players of our generation. So,
yeah. If you get snubbed by the worst snub in history by one of the greatest players, for me, it's I've played this is my 30th year being involved in Ultimate, and I've seen the best player kind of change 5 or 6 times. And even that, it's probably only been 3 times that it's been clear to me. It was Mike Grant, and then it was Bo Kittredge, and then it was Jimmy Mickle. And then now we're in this, there's 2 or 3 that I could maybe,
I think it's more clear. I'm not
going to do that right now
at the moment, right? Like Valeria and other people have argued trope, but I think it's much harder in men's. There was a bit where people were thinking Jack Williams, but maybe he cooled off a little bit last year. So
but there was even Dylan Freechild was in that conversation a little earlier, a couple years earlier. Kotcher's been there. I still reckon Joe White's on his way in there, but I'm part of the J-Dub fan club. So there's a handful still. I feel like that rate, but the last person who firmly had I'm the best in the world, I think, was Jimmy Mickle.
Yep.
So if you are one of the people who does not get selected because Jimmy wins the vote, it's Jimmy Mickle. What would you do in my shoes?
Look, what you really need to do is convince Steph to take a 21st player. Like that's you ain't kicking out Mickle.
Yeah, that's your more likely chance.
It's seriously your more likely chance. So you've got to start running the petition for the 21st.
Well, I'll tell you what, we do have a 21st male on the team as of today as well. Because I was just on Amazon and I purchased a megaphone, and Benji Reese will be on the sideline with a megaphone as our sideline hype guy. So not a player, but a 21st member.
Undisputed greatest players of all time. I think that we've really left out a massive part of that conversation. That's Benji Reese. Athletic, tall. How are you going to beat him in the air? But more importantly, how are you going to beat him with a megaphone in his hands and some commentating to do?
Unbeatable.
That's really his arena. He puns with the best of them. He'll make you giggle out loud.
Oh yeah, his literary use. So like commentating next to Benji is just I gotta hold my face firm to not burst out in laughter a lot of the time. The amount of intellect that he uses so witfully, he's incredible. So I can't wait to have him on the side. We're going to be worked to the grind at Windmill. I mean, myself and now Benji too. I've basically told ULTI World, because they will be doing the streaming, but ULTI.TV will be doing the super team streaming, that I was like, okay, I just need to either be on the game, on the super team commentary every time it's a mixed division, or get my breaks on the mixed game so I can coach, and then I'll commentate every open women's division. Wherever you want me, I'll go. But I'm going to be, running from one field, commentate an open game, run back, either commentate or coach, or maybe even play a couple points in the mixed game, and then boom, boom, boom. It's going to be madness. Luckily, we've got a co-coach who's really going to be the proper coach in Ine Lankrit. So the team will actually have somebody with hands on the reins while I'm running around like a chicken with my head cut off.
I mean, they said Herbie was the mascot of Windmill, but really this year, is it just Pazzo running around doing like 3 different jobs?
I'll only take mascot claim if I get to take an elephant home at the end. It's all, if I win it, then I will say, yes, I was the mascot all weekend long, but got to win that baby.
Herbie versus Pazzo Sock Wrestling 2024. You heard it here first, people.
I would take that. It depends who they put in the suit, but I'd take it.
But I think we can't talk about Windmill anymore because we'll just get too excited here.
Yeah, I
think we've got to cool down. We've got a whole month to wait for Windmill.
We got a month. In that time, we will conduct our next interview. I would imagine the next episode will come out shortly after Windmill. Another great guest, but another great show. Thanks for being with us for the Daan Marrée episode. Noah, you've been great as always. Always keeping us well informed, and of course, he does all the production on this stuff. Wonderful job as always. And to all you at home, make sure, thanks for being patrons and supporting everything we do. We love you. We'll catch you next time. Stay tuned for everything we do.
See ya.